and give out those magnetic bracelets, so I should get to posting
them.
them.
Clients too, because I'll put it on. They're like, "Ooh, what's that? It's so
I know.
And I slap bobby pins on them. They're like, "It's magic."
I actually use 2 now, so that they hold my pins better. Like I can stack them up.
Hers looks thicker than ours.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah, it looks like it's thicker.
It might be one of those older ones.
I have one that's like a slap bracelet and it has like this metal panel.
I've seen.
Do you guys like those ones?
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of it.
It's very strong.
I feel like I couldn't hold enough pins. I had one like that.
That's the only reason I didn't try that one, because I like that I can just slap a low bunch all the way around, because then when my arm's at different angles and stuff, I can just grab them from like whatever direction my wrist is at, rather than like reaching around.
But also, I think if I had that one, I would be better about how I place my pins, you know, because you have to use like that small section. So instead, I'll be like working and I just grab a handful and I slap it on there and pins rain down. And then they won't be on there good, so I'll bump my hand. Like every time I turn around when I'm done working.
25 cents a pin.
I know, it's crazy. But yeah, I see like just, I pick them up. I'll clean those things. No.
Oh yeah, no, we're not wasting bobby pins like that.
So what are you doing here, Kimmy?
Has anyone else found wand bobby pins consistently yet since COVID? No. Because that's been hell.
No. Metagrip. I just got some from Sally's, and the lady's like, "You bought everything in our store." And I was like, "Well, you should probably carry more."
Gotta be prepared for another
Yes.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Another bobby pin pandemic.
Roseville usually has all of the Metagrips. They're cheaper than Sally's.
What?
I've also got them on Amazon.
How much are they on Amazon or at that Cosmoprof?
Cosmoprof, I think they're at least $1, if not $1.50 cheaper per container.
They're like $17 a container now.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. 16 something.
Okay, I did not spend that much. I just restocked.
Yeah, at Sally's.
The Cosmoprof.
Okay, yeah, they're like $16 a thing.
God no.
But I'm super committed to them. Like, we are in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
I can't use anything else.
I just had to buy white bobby pins for my daughter's dance to match her headband. So I got the white ones, and that was really hard to find too.
Are they good? Like a good grip?
Yeah, kind of. But they're for her headband stuff. So
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about the stuff that I'm on.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
So I usually first start off figuring out, I mean, obviously I consult with the client about what I'm gonna leave out by her face and stuff, like how much she likes to see, just like the rest of us. It's nice teaching people who already know how to do hair.
I know, right? You don't have to
Things
break
that I
down some
don't have
steps.
to talk about. Like you're not like beauty school students, you've never touched a curling iron. I always make sure that I take the hair above the recession area though, because that's like my biggest pet peeve is when I see us as stylists leaving that.
I hate that too.
That shit. So that gets covered. If
So
they'll let
like
me cover
basically
it.
you're not letting there be a hole there.
I'm not letting her have a hole. We have enough holes in our bodies. We don't need that one.
We have enough what? Holes there.
So I go in zones typically when I'm doing my high updos because there's certain pieces that I leave out. I zigzag every single section because it diffuses the line when I'm pinning it up. Those straight lines with a bane in existence. I will also likely end up zigzagging the part up here because a lot of the time with it, when they want, unless it's like mandatory for the style, like the Kim K sleek curls or whatever, I almost always diffuse the part with like a really soft tiny zigzag because there's nothing worse than those updos that you look at the pictures and like the focal point goes up to the
Yes.
to
You're
the
like
part
that
line
white
because they
stripe.
have the really white scalp and the spray tan and
That's a really good tip, Kimmy. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
thought to include that, and I'm definitely like,
That was
I
also
hate
in that
that.
training, that like big training video that you sent.
with the girl with the red hair, Caitlin
I don't
Grimes,
know
or
if
was
she-
it?
I don't know if she had red or blonde hair.
Oh, that might be the
The like,
Hair by Heidi one.
yeah,
Heidi?
I think so.
I don't go anywhere without my mini crimper. If you don't have one, buy one.
I remember you using that before.
Do you just use it? Are you just using it at the root, or are you using it throughout the whole
Use it-
head?
So it depends on the client and it depends on the style. I pretty much always use it at the roots. I really need to zigzag this section. I pretty much always use it at the roots just on I find my clients because I need that like texture and grip. But I will use it through the ends before I curl to create a little more fullness in the hair when I'm gonna be creating like a fluffier twist or bun, because it also gives the bobby pins more to grab onto. If you're trying to get, otherwise you're like loading their hair up with texture spray and stuff, and nobody. I'm sorry, but I have major sensory issues, and I try to keep the hair as soft as I can, because if I have to touch crispy hair on myself, it's like touching something wet in the sink drain. I don't like it.
Wait, what? Something wet in the what?
In the sink drain.
You know, when you touch like that nasty
This is fantastic.
piece of wet
When
food.
you get
Yes!
your kitchen put up
That-
and you have to like reach down there and get all the nasty food.
Yeah, I had to clean dog puke with my bare hands out of the holes in the back seat the other day. I wanted to die, and that's what I feel like when I touch like super crispy, hard, frizzy hair.
So you don't use a ton of product to prep. So far, you've just used some texturizing spray, correct?
So far,
Dry shampoo. Okay. Dry shampoo even, not even texture spray.
it's the texture dry shampoo.
What do
I
you
want
think?
some grit, but not so much that it makes the hair frizzy.
Does Katie have, this is my friend Katie, by the way, she's my neighbor.
That's okay. That's all right.
Does she have fine hair? So I haven't done her hair, but I get when I'm looking at it, like it feels like it's kind of that silky
Yeah, she
hair that
has-
does need like prep work, right?
Yes, she definitely needs prep work, especially as a bride. Like, if you were my bride and I'm like putting a veil into your hair, you definitely need prep work for sure. But just in general, for like these high updos in particular, because you want it to hold and not sag throughout the day and stuff. Yeah, she definitely has fine wispy hair. It's super thick.
Is it thick?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was finer.
But,
Just from like
She has
looking
a
at
lot
her.
of hair.
just
Is
with the
Oh, look at that. That's
Yeah.
good
with the
volume.
crimping, like you can already see like how full that makes it, and it also helps
Creates a lot of
diffuse.
volume.
Yeah.
Helps
parts.
diffuse that darn
God, I have
colic.
that so
on-
bad.
Like when you're doing a low bun, it just like makes it so much easier to grab
Yeah.
that stuff.
Look at how nice that is. So if you were doing low, like this was gonna be a low style, right? Would you prep the same, or would you be doing like back combing
sorry.
to kind of build a base in there?
Pretty.
I prep pretty much the same way, no matter what style I'm doing.
Okay.
Even if I'm doing Hollywood waves are my jam, and we need volume to make the curls fluffy. You need to lift the roots. So
This is why I love watching other people, because at this point, if I was doing a low updo, there would be layers of back combing in,
Yeah.
in that hair. Like I would be building that up quite a
And I
bit.
do the back combing in here too, but that's just not here yet. We're not there yet.
I really
But
like
yeah,
that
no, I do a lot of back combing, but like if this was a low bun, for example, and they wanted like say a lot of texture through the crown, I wouldn't need to necessarily do a lot of back combing once you get the crimping, that word,
Mm-hmm.
in there, because I'll twist and then I'll like do
Yeah, the
this
crimp creates
little
so
number.
much-
Like
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
so much like friction and hold with that texture that unless I've got a bride that's like anchoring a veil in there, you don't necessarily need to go overboard with the back combing, which is what I had to do before I started using the crimper. And then you look at the pictures and like they're kind of fuzzy. It's really hard to hide, especially in fine hair clients, all that extra back combing.
Yeah. Ooh, I love this.
In other words, get a crimper.
It'll
I
change
have
your
one and I
life.
do really like it. I use it pretty much the same way, but I just do a lot more back combing. I feel like that's probably also like a generational thing.
I do
Well,
a
yeah,
lot
I
of
think
back
we-
combing.
back combing.
I just haven't gotten to that stuff yet.
Try and smooth it back down.
I know.
Battle
I'm
of
like
life.
neat and tidy with my back combing though. Like I'm
You
a
are neater
big.
than I am for sure.
I mean, you can't see that stuff.
Or like the old lady that's like, I don't want any batting in my hair.
Most of my clients
I'll
these
crimp
days
it.
are telling
You
me they
won't
want no back combing.
I know, but then do you just say, okay, fine, it's gonna be flat? Because I usually say, listen, I think you need a little bit just for a good shape. I want your sides to lay pretty.
I usually tell them it's all about the profile, so
Yeah,
you need something.
like it'll just
Say it
lay
looks better in pictures.
when you can
than-
see it, like
90% of your pictures
laying
are
on their
profile.
head,
Mm.
flat on their head. You know, when you pull it back, I hate that. Like that.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Okay, sorry. Can I
I just
continue?
love listening to the
Does it-
ranting of stylists. Like, we all get it.
Does anybody want a soda? Randomly, just have a fridge full of Pepsi. Yeah, excellent.
Like, who drinks Pepsi? I'll take Pepsi.
All right.
Random. It's gonna be
I tried for the
basic
last
thing.
thing that we did to go. I wanted to get like bubbly waters. Everybody loves bubbly waters. Anybody else? You good? And then I got here and I had forgotten. And so I said, oh, I only have 10 minutes. I'll run up to essay. And that was my only option. So. And then everybody came and I was like, does anybody want a Pepsi? And they were like, no.
You're gonna have those Pepsis forever.
I know, but we don't ever have soda at our house. Like, it's just not like a really big thing at our house.
You don't drink that.
But it's delicious now. Every so often I'll be here for a trial and I'm like, let me get that Pepsi.
So
Okay, what are you doing?
I am putting a ponytail in the middle of her head on the crown.
And you pulled it out, fluffed it?
Pulled it out and fluffed it because I want it to blend when I do this like draping over it. I want it to blend nicely and not be able to see like just sleek underneath it, you know.
And you didn't put it right in the middle. You kind of put it at the top and have it lifted forward a little bit.
I'm just lifting it forward because I'm about to pull this up here too.
Okay.
I don't like to curl more than I absolutely have to because I'm a nice bitch. And also work smarter, not harder. So I like anything that I'm putting up into a ponytail, I'm pulling things out. It's fine. You're not a real client.
Okay, listen, Kimmy, she has to go to swim lessons later.
I have known that. I'd have been trying harder.
Oh, light up Foss. Like, what is going on? This mom's on
I'm gonna
another
embarrass
level.
my husband like you won't believe.
Oh, I would use it all the way,
Absolutely.
for sure. Depending on
He'll be like,
See, this is what I always
right,
do.
Costco.
Make sure you wear some high heels. and
Yes.
really make it work for you.
Okay, so you're doing another
Sprinkle some
pony
water
here.
in there.
For the like high updos, you really don't need to do back combing through the back of the head like you do with low buns. So I usually secure, it depends on the size of their head. Sometimes I only really need to secure like one ponytail up here. She's got a little bit more like scalp real estate that's actually got good hair density. So I'm doing two.
That sounded so professional. Skilled
Skilled
real estate
real
with a lot of
estate.
hair density.
I heard eyelid real estate once from a makeup artist. I was like, that's fucking genius.
Yeah, I like that.
True, also.
Although, I feel like if somebody told me I had eyelid real estate, I'd be like, I know they're sagging. I'd take it very personal.
I take it very personal. So I just anchor a couple kind of soft, loose ponies in here, and like I said, it's different for each client, so it'll look kind of dorky.
See it like that.
Mhm.
I think we're done. This is my best work.
Embarrassing your husband.
That's right.
You got the curve made, it's all that
I
matters.
was a model
Perfect.
for a professional updo class. She really knew her shit. So when I go through, I'm so used to like, I get it done, and when we're on these like half-hour timetables, I've not sat here and like broken it down for other people. So having to sit here and like think extra hard about the steps I'm taking. I did zero prep for teaching you guys.
That's that ADHD. That's how I approach things too. Missy will be like, so what are you going to talk about? I'm like,
Nothing.
gonna be
Nothing
fine.
or everything. There's no in between. I kept telling my partner, I was like, I need to like practice on a mannequin or something so I can break it down into steps and stuff. But my ADHD was like, no, wing it. So this is what's happening. You're welcome.
Honestly, I feel like every hair class I've ever been to, they probably do break it down a little bit, but it's kind of the same. You're just watching them work as they talk through kind of what they're doing.
Right.
Well, and we can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And if I, sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't know why I shivered.
I thought I might have pulled
Probably feels good.
sometimes this thing grabs a hair every now and then, so I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, hair again. I always make sure to talk to them about trimming their hair.
Yeah, the front
I always
pieces.
get a good chuckle out of my
Oh,
clients
yes.
because I'll ask them if they've seen Pitch Perfect when their tendrils are too long. And I'll be like, have you ever seen Pitch Perfect? You know that part where Fat Amy's got her like high pony with the really long tendrils, and she's like, I call this the Orthodox Jew. That's what it makes me think of when the tendrils are too long and they're like down to your boobies. Like, we're not doing that. Nobody likes that.
Don't worry, Katie. We won't force you into a haircut today.
We don't need to cut your hair.
It's okay.
getting married though, we'd be
They
like,
did
listen,
cut my
Katie.
hair. I was gonna say, my girl who did my hair did cut my hair.
Yeah, we cut everybody's hair.
Yeah.
It's like nobody has like the perfect
Oh,
length
yeah.
of tendrils. I'm like, you're never gonna see this again. Just let me cut it.
Whenever
It's
my
fine.
brides tell me at their trial, like, yeah, I'm gonna have my stylist do
Yeah.
a haircut before the wedding, I'm like, please don't.
Right.
Like, do
Yeah.
a regular haircut, but don't let them touch your face for me. Just let me do it myself.
My bride just did that. I just did her trial run, her wedding today.
And
She
that
was
was like
so
a really
sweet.
chunky spot.
She had like the
or a top
chunkiest,
knot.
shortest bangs, and she just wanted like a fringe because she really wanted to wear her hair down in curls, and we couldn't even curl them. It was.
Oh.
She was so nice about it, but I was like, honey, I think we have to pin these back. Like, I don't know what to do here. But she was really nice about it. I feel like some brides would have been like, oh my god, and she was like, okay.
Yeah, no, I just straight up explain that to my clients. Like, I would so much rather you just let me trim it myself so that I can customize which pieces we're leaving out. I am crimping her ends on this bottom section because where her hair is healthier, and there's less blonde, that's like giving it texture. It's like super slippery. I don't want that. Damn you and your healthy hair.
I know. That's why I thought it was fine because it's so healthy. I was like, Katie, you got pretty thin hair. She was like, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know how to describe it. I think I said it's not thin, it's not thick.
Yeah.
You have
A lot.
fine,
Fine.
you have fine thick hair.
Okay.
Like it's
Yeah, you have a lot of hair.
It's like how my hair is.
It's honestly
It's
good
really
though.
fine. Well, okay, it's obviously it's but without the mixed.
I feel like this is a really good texture to have a class on because one, you have to see
Yes.
thick hair being pinned up, which can be challenging, but also fine, like Norwegian hair is like the bread and butter that you get at weddings. So seeing how to work with that is really helpful. My God, these donut rolls are good.
All of a sudden we look over and there's two left.
I know.
She's like hiding him over there.
Munching in the corner.
Alright, I'm just chilling and growing right now, so just nothing interesting is happening right now.
So I like how you have just the crown separated. Is that how you go about sectioning off your updos all the time? And is that like a detailing thing? So generally speaking, when I'm doing an updo, I do break it down into 3. And then I handle like the back crown first, you know, and this all comes back. But you have it like the actual top of the head sectioned off. What with the
Yeah.
sides down? What is the thought process there?
So if I'm doing a low bun, I separate it into 4 zones where it's like side, side, crown, and the bottom half like goes into a ponytail usually. I'll do like all of this whole bottom half into a ponytail wherever I'm gonna put the bun, and then I have my crown zone and then my sides that are draped back or whatever. But on the high ponies, again, depends on scalp real estate and stuff. But for this particular one, since I'm doing a high updo, I haven't decided yet what I want draped here, so I know I'm either gonna be like having some of this move into the side section, or I might do more volume here. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, so I have that just all grouped in. But this part for sure, like this top section, I'm gonna want to drape that in and like create a little bit of volume here. So I have that separate because that's gonna go in separately and get pinned here somewhere. So we're saving her for later.
Yeah, I like that. I was wondering, I say it all the time, but your work reminds me of that Hair and Makeup by Steph. Do you guys all know who she is? And she has an online subscription course
Yeah.
that I paid for years, right? And then she wasn't adding anything to it. I canceled it, and she just was like, all right, I'm gonna start adding things.
Yeah, she added a ton.
I know, but so the one thing that like when it's fascinating to me is watching her approach an updo, she leaves a lot more hair out than I do. Like I leave hair out that I know is gonna be staying down, but like she leaves a lot of hair out and will intricately place it to get it, and that's how she gets those like, her looks, they're very like, they have a lot of depth, right? Like a lot of detailing. So I was kind of wondering about that. So that's what you're doing there.
And usually for these ponytails that I'm like securing a decent amount of hair, I'm actually going to probably redo this one because I don't like it. I usually use 2 binders instead of just one. But I figure she's not wearing this all day. I'm not gonna be bouncing up and down on a dance floor for hours.
Oh yeah.
So I can get away with just one ponytail on her hair. So she's, probably taking this out at some point. in the
You
next
have like a
12
bunch of
hours.
colored binders too, don't you?
Yeah, I like to be able to. I mean, if it's like a hidden one, like it's not a big deal. Like, it doesn't need to match, but I like having the actual hair tone binders just because, like, when somebody does sit in my chair and they want like one of those faux braids or something,
Yeah.
nothing drives me more crazy than when I can see all of the binders.
Like all the clear binders. Yes. Can you I'll want you to link those too.
Yeah, I think I got these ones. It's just that Squinchy brand, whatever. I think might have gotten it at like Ulta or something. I just saw it and I was like, that's perfect.
Love it.
That's
That's how I am with bobby pins. I've seen some people they say like they'll work even on blonde hair with like dark bobby pins, because the idea is that you don't see the bobby pins, and I can appreciate that, but for some reason I don't know what it is. Like, it's so satisfying to me. I prefer to work with like blonde bobby pins on blonde hair.
Same with the binders.
Work
I love-
smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Sabrina?
I said I love the toned binders.
Yeah. Do you have the same ones?
Yeah, I think so. Same little pack.
I have to get some.
Yeah, I do like them. Even for a little kid, like when you're doing a little flower
Yeah.
girl.
Because you can always see the binders on the
Always see
flower.
it, so it's nice to have something at least somewhat blend.
Yeah, because they have such fine little wispy hair on those younger flower girls.
Yeah.
And, like, I used to only really carry like clear or black, and then if I ran out of my clears, then I'm like, well, this adorable
didn't
little
really
blonde
have
girl
that.
has black binders in her hair,
Yeah.
and they don't have enough hair to
totally
like
upside
hide
down.
it. Like, wrap something with
Yeah,
a
upside down.
hair
Yeah.
and hide it with a bobby pin or something.
I found like tubs of colored ones, like each, like a black one and a brown or a clear one, that are intended for like actually braiding hair, like box braiding and stuff.
Oh, really?
They're
So if she had
bulletproof.
really thin hair.
Where did you get
isn't
them?
it the same?
It was
She
either
had
Sally's or
really
Costco.
thin
This is
hair.
the kind of information we want to share on the
I
Facebook
have
page.
a
When you
very
find
similar
something
section.
good, you gotta link it.
I have some too
Okay.
that I think I
So
got
you're still
at Sally's,
going
and
to
they're
work with the
black, and
two
my
ponies,
spouse,
if, like, her head's
she
the
wears,
same
she has
size.
Usually-
locks,
Very thin
and
hair.
so I use
Usually
them
if
on
she
hers,
has
and
really
every
thin
other
hair,
rubber
like, I'll
band
do,
I
like,
have
the
used
same
on her, they
brown one,
snap like
but
after
I may
a
end up
week.
leaving, like,
But these do, like, I can stretch them
like
to the max,
instead
and I
of
cannot
having
break them,
two
like unless I
bigger
snip
sections
them.
here,
For
I think
Costco?
I take this
No, I
one
think
a
they're
little bit
Sally's.
bigger.
Did yours come in like a
Cut
little
this one in
plastic?
half,
Like
leave
clear,
more
and it's got
of
like
this
pink
down,
writing on
down,
them or
to
something.
pull up
That I don't
there.
remember. I just remember them basically coming in like
Cause I
a.
find that
I
have a
still
lot of
have it
plastic
in the,
cover, but
oh
they're
no, I took them
small.
out and put them in a
They were
Ziploc.
not.
I'll find them and I'll send them
So
to
you've
you.
used no
The
product
majority
so
of the
far,
time they don't,
right?
and then they want
Just
these
the
big
dry
Yeah.
shampoo.
Just the dry shampoo.
With
Usually I'll
texture.
throw like some heat protectant or something in
Okay.
there, but so far I haven't used anything, because I haven't started doing any like back combing, and which is, again, with the back combing, that's why I use a dry shampoo that has texture in it. If they don't have like oily hair, then I'll just go straight to like my powder puff or something and use that at the roots.
Would you use that like top to bottom for roots, or just kind of like towards the top?
It just depends on, like for this, you really don't need much at the roots if you do the crimping. Because that gives it the hair enough grip just with the crimping. Like the stuff that's pulled up into ponytails, like the bobby pins are gonna stick in there and anchor in
With the
because it's in a
crimping.
ponytail and it's got
And
the
it's in a
crimping.
pony. Correct.
So I don't, if their hair's like super soft and slippery, yes, I will put texture. It's just totally a client to client based thing. But yeah, so.
I always tell my clients, I'm like, this is the boring part. I just gotta curl for the next 25 minutes.
Are you rotating your curls? Are you going the same direction?
I rotated, I did some this way and some that way.
Like alternating next to each other or on top of each other.
So for this section, I really just based it on like her like hair growth directions, like the stuff that I want like to lay nicely this way. I force it that way with the curling iron, I I didn't go like side to side. I did more of like an angle backwards, and then like angled these ones this way because it's gonna end up like kind of draping sideways and down. I don't have like the most technical terms. I'm sorry.
It works for us, I
And
guess.
some of it, like when you've never taught a class and you're so used to just doing things a certain way, I'm like, I don't know why I did it that way. I just because it felt right. So that's something that I'm gonna have to figure out how to explain better some of the time.
You're doing good. I'm trying to think of the last class we had, if I had like background music on or something. I feel like it was not quite as quiet, but maybe I'm wrong.
I think we were just really
have more
talkative.
banter,
Very
so-
very chatty
Very
that
chatty
day.
last
I'm super boring when I'm working on an actual wedding. I just like I try to talk, but then I get
You're in your
distracted.
zone, okay?
I get in my zone and I warn my brides like, yeah, your trial might have taken 3 hours for hair and makeup today because we did a lot of chatting, but on the wedding day,
I'm here to work, babe.
I'm
Don't
here
talk to me.
I'm here to do my job. Don't talk to me.
The last
Your
wedding
friends
I
are here,
worked
have fun with them.
with Kimmy, I'm normally the same way, you know,
That
like
was
very
hilarious.
introverted. I told my clients, like at the trial too, I'm like Sabrina's seen it. I start out really strong, you know, like I start out the morning and I'm chatting and I'm having a good time, but like hour and a half or so in, I start shutting down. I get really quiet. I'm just focused on my work. I don't have any more conversation left in me. And so I was recently diagnosed with ADHD, and there's like you really have to play around with like medication and dosage to find out like what your best one is going to be. And last wedding I worked with Kimmy, I had my doctor was like, so you try this dose, try this one. If you don't like those, we'll go like middle ground. And I was trying the higher dose. I was so chatty, you guys. Like I couldn't, my mouth. I kept being like, she just stop talking.
Okay, the best part was that she was so distracted chatting that she thought she was just working really fast. Like she's like, I'm just like so efficient now with that Adderall. But she had completely skipped one of the clients.
Yeah, totally skipped. I thought that I was like,
I was like, I'm 35 minutes fast. Nope,
Oh my God.
just talking more.
and at the end, we were with Kim, I was with Kimmy, Melody, and Lindsay. At the end, I was like, oh my God, you guys, that was so bad. Like, you know, because I was chatting, and I just have, I think, like a very silly sense of humor, you know, which is fine around people I know. But like, then I was amongst all these other people that I didn't know, and I was just like, it was ridiculous.
I mean, it brought me an immense amount of joy listening to like the trailer park stories from Florida.
Oh yeah, that was a doozy. And then I was like, what? Oh God, what if they lived there? It was so bad, you guys. It was just like,
My
classically-
mother-in-law lives in that trailer park.
yeah. I was telling them that I have family in Florida from my dad's side that like I don't know at all. From this trailer park, they live in there down there, and they have like a bunch of kids, and I think like the whole group of them all live in this trailer park, which is like not. I don't care if you live in a trailer park. It's just that they happen to live in a trailer park. But the story was, why am I sharing this at a wedding? It was not the topic. I said, so what's really crazy though, is that apparently one of my cousins down there, like I haven't met many of them, but one of my cousins, or maybe she's like a second cousin, I don't know how that works, married her uncle.
Yikes.
Again, why am I sharing that at a wedding? Where did that come from? That's not natural conversation. What'd you say?
Marriage,
Yeah.
Adderall, I don't know.
I know.
Yeah, married then.
After all that, I was sweating so bad. I kept trying to Kimmy was working on one of the brides. It was 2 brides. And Kimmy was working on one of the brides, and I'm like, oh my God, I kept wanting like Kimmy to look at me. I'm like, am I
They get the tape.
Okay, so I'm putting in smoothing lotion now.
okay? Okay. And you've just been prepping a lot there.
I've just been, the prepping takes forever. And it, like I told my clients, it's like cleaning out your closet. It gets worse before it gets better. Just
What's your
don't
smoothing
feel
lotion?
The Moroccan oil smoothing lotion, I like it because it absorbs into the hair really nicely. Oh my God.
Is it really
It
good?
doesn't leave it greasy.
It doesn't leave it
So
greasy.
nice.
It soaks in. Like if you put too much on in one spot, yeah, it's a little wet. You know, but like it absorbs in fairly quickly.
It doesn't make your hands sticky either, which I like.
No.
So you could, like,
Well,
absorb
with the
sweat.
amount that I use,
You can use it and then go
I
back
have to
to
like
it.
wash my hands in between clients because
I do
I'll
too.
start like I can't like
Well, I think that's a
get
mix,
caps
too.
off of
Yeah.
bottles because my hand's just slipping off of it. But sometimes, depending on how frizzy their hair is, like I will use a smoothing lotion on it before I secure it in the ponytails because I like to keep it neat by layers.
This is very neat. There's not any flyaways. It's
Right.
really looking good.
I had too much smoothing lotion on my hair on my hand when I was styling my blonde bride the other day, and she wanted like a really sleek updo, and I did this, and there's just like a line. And
Oh.
I was like, don't look at it. just trying to like diffuse it out.
I feel like
Staring at it in the mirror, and I was like, I just put some more in there and diffuse that harsh line I just gave you. It dried, it was fine, but
I feel like the worst part is, or the worst about that is when you don't have time to wash your hands. Like, the energy is really big in the room, and you know it's just time you gotta leave, and you try to like, you're gripping your steering wheel, and it's like, just sticking the whole way home.
yeah, you forgot to wash
I
your
got baby
hands or
wipes in
whatever.
my car.
Do you? That's smart. That's smart. It's such a sensory thing for me, and now I'm like,
Like
listen,
it.
I will wait in line behind the
Yeah.
bridesmaids. I have to wash my hands.
I didn't realize like how bad I was at that for like the first few seasons I was doing bridal because once I started doing so many weddings every year, because I started like when you're only doing maybe like 30 weddings a year, like the buildup on your steering wheel happens a lot slower. But when you're doing almost 70 a year like I do, then like after like a month you're like my steering wheel is gray.
Yeah, yeah. You can like flick it off.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. So I was like, that's a problem. I need to start being more responsible and washing my hands. Gross.
Okay, I
But
like
you
how
do,
you're
you're like
seeing
in a
this.
hurry and then you just leave. Okay, so
You've seen very
Is that
fine sections here.
Yes.
Lots of that zigzag parting is huge too.
Zigzag part.
zigzag parting because then I don't have like strips that are not like melding into each other. When I go to pull this back, like I don't ever see a part that I'm trying to like hide.
That is going to be so smooth and pretty when it's done. So
Vertical
detailed.
sections like that.
Yes. Oh, also, where are you guys buying Moroccan oil these days? NSR is closed.
Salon Service Group or
yes.
Beauty Craft.
Salon service.
Yeah,
What's Salon Service
Salon
Group?
Service Group absorbed National Salon Resources.
Oh,
It's
is it-
really close to
I have it in
Beauty
Woodbury.
craft
Be-
better, but
Golden Valley.
Oh,
That
it's
one
in
by
that
the
area now?
McDonald's off Medicine
there's one in
Lake Road.
Okay.
Andover too. Well, I don't know about Salon Service Group, but the Beauty Craft, there's one in Andover.
Isn't there a beauty craft in like Coon Rapids or something?
I don't know. Is
In
there,
Riverdale, or kind of like by the Walmart in Riverdale.
Okay.
wait.
I have to pick some of
Can I
this
sort
up.
of like
In a
mentions?
pinch, they have it for full
Wait,
price.
what?
Wait, everything in Rapids. Why do I not
I
know
like that
this?
posh salon.
Yes, right next
In
to
that
the
strip
house.
mall.
Okay.
There's a beauty
Nobody
craft
got
there.
No, oh my gosh, the amount of
So
times
bad.
that I've had to go
I
through
guess I
that.
don't go to that part of Coon Rapids.
Especially
I'm
with
always
eyelashes.
closer to
It's
like
usually
the
eyelashes.
It's always eyelashes.
Sure.
I
What are
always
you two
get so
talking
angry with
about?
myself too. I'm like, I should have. I knew I was getting low. I
I'll
should
tell
have filled
myself
What?
as I'm leaving
Paying full
a
price.
wedding. I'm just
Oh,
like,
right,
eyelashes.
'cause you run out of
Totally forget.
something.
You get in your zone, like, yay, I'm going
Yeah.
home, and then you forget, eyelashes.
Yep.
And then you leave the next morning to go to the next wedding, and you're like, oh,
No eyelashes.
0 eyelashes, and you find the nearest Walgreens and run in and out, and you're running late to the wedding, and it's fine. This has not been a trauma for me at all. Listen, time management skills are not awesome for someone who has no internal body clock.
I'm the same way. Like, honestly, I feel like my first wedding that I worked with you guys, I was like 2 to 3 minutes late, just like I was today. It was like 1:03. I was like, fuck.
Oh my God.
Like, do I text? I'm gonna be 3 minutes late. No, it's fine. Just show up. Just show up late.
So I obviously did not ask Katie, like, oh, how do you want us to look? I'm just doing
Yes.
whatever I want.
She's gonna be like, I hate it.
I know, right? Not going to
But
say
like, we're not here for the consultation, okay? That's not the class didn't say, oh, Kimmy's teaching consultations. It says just using detailing, okay? So Katie doesn't get a decision here.
Katie's just gotta sit through
Just
it.
gotta sit here.
I want that cool.
Yeah, I just saved it because I was like, I have been looking everywhere. I even commented on this girl's Instagram. She
I love it. I have one now and I use
What?
it constantly. That comb.
Yeah.
Nicole.
Is it
She
on,
liked
is
my
it just like
comment
on
and then
Amazon?
just didn't
Is
reply.
it
I was
on
like, you
Amazon
fucker.
or like at a beauty store?
She didn't want to
I
share.
don't know.
hers.
I didn't even know what to
I
call
think I
it.
ordered
I'm
mine.
just
Yeah.
like rat
Pink
tail comb
Peter.
with handle. Like,
So what's that
what
girl
the
that
fuck
you're
is it
using?
called?
I have
This
one
is
with like
Yeah,
Powder
that's the
thing.
best.
This is a powder play light.
And so why are you
Mine's like
putting
in a
it right
shaker
there?
thing.
This one's the light one, so you spray it on as opposed to like dumping
Dump it,
the
dump it.
heavy one.
And you don't get that like the powder play light doesn't have that kind of like moist feeling to it when you first dump it on the hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what chemical reaction the regular powder play has, but it also offends my fingers. So
I feel like the regular powder play is almost too heavy for most.
yeah,
It's really heavy, yeah.
And it's
Especially if
like
you're using
white
it in the
linen
front like
hair.
that.
It's
Yeah.
very
Yeah, you
fine.
cannot use that in the
it's
front.
hard to control where it's now. I will use this at the roots, like if I've got someone with like really heavy, coarse, thick hair and they want Hollywood waves or something,
Yeah.
because that shit holds.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah,
need
it's
this on my
aggressive.
fine hair.
I don't
color.
like
It's
that
too
one
good.
as much anymore.
You know what
I
mine?
agree.
Just dead. I don't even use this very often. I have like 2 bottles, 2 little bottles, and then I went to the store and bought this monster. Why? I've had this
You can have it for the next 3 years.
Never gonna use that. Okay, anyway. So I have, when I get to this top section, on her in particular, I'm taking her like little bang section a little bit further down. I'm not taking this whole chunk here, just because it's one more thing to show, whatever. But the reason I put the powder play light up here, even though I already had the dry shampoo, is because I want, this is like so fine. I want to be able to do the minimum amount of back combing with the most amount of grip, so that there's not a bunch of fuzz I have to try to contend with. So I'm like not putting my comb all the way through the hair or anything like that. I'm just barely.
and it's like the back of the section, like not her front
Yeah,
hair.
the part that's gonna be covered. And then I just kind of, sorry, I'm like blocking you. I just kind of get all the surface areas, and then like I'll come back with that. But I took like horizontal sections more so on that part. I'm gonna be very well acquainted when this is over.
You're gonna be what?
At least your body's like
I'm just
Physically,
getting you warmed up for your hubby, okay?
Don't worry, I'll babysit.
We got you covered.
You take them to swim.
I feel like, especially when I'm doing makeup, that's like a conversation I have. Like, listen, I'm sorry, I'm gonna rap, but I just have to get very close to you.
Yep. Okay, so I go in, my smoothing lotion is my best friend with these. I go in and I get everything, this nice smoothing
It looks
lotion.
like a nice lightweight lining. It's so smooth, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't look like I would expect it to be looking kind of greasy almost.
I like
Right.
Bubbles too.
feel it. Is that a thing?
Yeah, go ahead, touch her.
Bumble and Bubble has a nice one. I like their container better for travel.
Cause I also, like, I've seen those wax sticks all over the place on Instagram and stuff for like controlling frizzies. They work really well. I have one for myself. I don't use them on my clients because technically that's unsanitary. Cause you're reusing it on clients. It's like sharing chapstick with a bunch of strangers. I just am not doing that. It works really well.
Isn't it rather like heavy? I always see people on TikTok being like, "This is how I smooth my ponytails."
Well, I mean, if you want a sleek look, you're getting
If you want a
look.
sleek look like that wax stuff does work really,
Especially
really
all those
well.
people that wanted like the super sleek front and then the waves.
I hope that look is over for this
I
year.
hope it.
It's not.
It's not
I've already gotten it.
Which
really,
Which look?
The sleek.
or it's parted like
Or
in the middle,
it's
and
the way you
it's
are
slicked
sorry.
back, and
just
the
did one
It's
of
just
those
like
I'm so
another
over
head
it.
leak.
It's what?
It's just
I'm just over it.
Oh,
I've done
Yeah.
it so many times. Just for goodness sakes, brides, you all have the same hair for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
the girls with the waves
that's-
Yes.
and the slick down. I know. I half of the it's so funny. It was so intense this year. Like
Let's do it.
all the galleries we got back, I'm like, and there's another one, and another one, and another one.
Like, how many do you want to post to the same hair?
Yeah, it's all the same.
Nailed it.
Do you remember, like 2-3 years ago now, when you did the coaching session with me and I said, hey, this is
I'm
happening,
loving
and
the
you're
high
like,
stuff
no,
stuff.
it's not.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it is.
I do recall that.
Not
Yeah,
stop.
I told you last year, but I
And it's been
think
nonstop. Now that you say it, I do remember that.
Be fun.
I
You
just
just,
am
like-
spending a lot of time looking at her.
And you're not even pinning anything at this point. You're just like detailing and
Once I
pulling
get-
hair back and
Once I get to the pinning part, that part's the fastest. Like, I prep everything to exactly like where I want it, so that when I'm ready to get shit done, I get shit done fast. Like, I do like all of the perimeter detailing and stuff first. And I'm just deciding what I want out right now. Just letting your head speak to me, okay? I'll try to make it less weird.
you haven't even put it all up yet, but like your total lack of frizz is just exactly what I wanted to see. I love it.
Yeah, it's like just really satisfying to my eyeballs.
Yeah, I feel like I would have sprayed a ton of hairspray.
Same.
By now.
I know, I would have sprayed some.
Like,
Okay,
all
we
sorts of stuff
literally just
happening.
And they
had
already
dry
would've started
shampoo
pinning,
with
too.
texture, powder, and a little bit of smoothing.
That's, well, I don't remember whose class I took or where I heard it, but they, you know, because so many of these spray products have alcohol in it, and it just, especially on fine hair types, it just dries it out and makes it more unruly. And then when it's too sticky, and then you're like, oh, I need to fix that spot. It's either crispy, which you brush it and it makes it more frisbee.
Frisbee.
Your hair is not frisbee at all. So
You do not have frisbee hair. That's so nice.
frizzy hair. Makes it more frizzy when you break the hairspray apart, or it's like sticky. Like, I won't do detailing with Kenra 25, for example, ever. That's my finishing spray. I do Kenra 13 for my detailing at the end, which you'll see. Because it has just enough tack, but not so much that it's like sticking to my comb. Because if the Kenra 25, there's no sticking to my comb now. The Kenra 25, like I'll go to like just gently fix something, and then like the whole piece like comes stuck
I
into it.
hate
and I'm
that.
like, no. It's, if they ever discontinue Kenra 13, I would jump off a bridge. That is like, I've tried a bunch of different detailing sprays, and that one just works the best. And every single wedding I work, everyone's always like, that hairspray smells so good.
They do. We do always say that.
Okay, so our zones. I'm ready for pinning.
I'm literally texting myself. Do you guys ever do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta.
But you'll
I
put all
said
this
it
in the
in
Facebook
alarms.
link, though. Right, you'll put all this stuff in the Facebook link. Perfect.
Yes, yep.
My wife will be like, why the hell are you texting yourself? Just don't worry about it.
So any puffing that I'm gonna do, or what like detailing, I do that all before I start pinning. Typically, I just like hold.
So you haven't even pinned this part yet.
Nope. I have not put a single pin in her head yet.
So I would
I'd have had this whole updo done by now if I wasn't sitting here. Like, how do I explain this to people?
I'd have at least 35 pins in
I was
there.
gonna say, I had things in it already.
I love using pins.
Well, that's the nice thing about the
Pins.
cripper, and because that's exactly how I was when I first started out. Like pins galore. If you go home and you don't pull at least 87 to 150 bobby pins out of your head,
I didn't,
I didn't do
your
it
hair.
right.
I use it a lot for like direction, you know, like the way you like are draping hair. I would like, I always call it tack it. Like I just gently put a pin in, you know, so like I can kind of hold the hair in the direction.
What I'll do is I use. Don't judge me.
Nice.
It didn't touch my lips. Okay. I'll use these guys because it doesn't have any teeth on it. And like if I need it to like hold, like I'll do that number.
And detail from
I'll
there.
give you whiplash today. I'm so sorry. But I'll do that because then it's not like a hard amount of
Like tension.
tension on the hair.
Look at
and
that
then I
detailing
can
already.
still like pull that out. And like while that's still in there, that's when I'll start like doing some pinning. What I'll also do sometimes is, especially when I'm doing like a twisted bun, when I go to like say we're like twisting, you'll probably see me do it today, but like I'll use hairpins to hold it where
That's
I
what I
want
was
it.
talking about at that last class.
And then I'll pin with bobby pins and take these guys out. So my clients will be like, you look like a hedgehog. Like the like client's mom or somebody that's watching, they'll just make the most hilarious comments because you do. You look like a little porcupine.
And so that's just like
Yeah.
holding the hair in place while you detail it
Yep.
before you lock it all in.
Yep. So otherwise we have to put a bobby pin in and then you finish a twist and that looks like shit. So then you gotta take it out and all the bobby pins are locked in and it's just really annoying.
This is like my 5th donut hole, folks. I need to learn to use less pins though because they are so expensive.
Yeah.
That's why I started using less, like trying to find like creative ways to be, like still get good grip, especially with fine soft hair, without having to, cause it hurts. I have fine hair. It hurts when you have 100 plus bobby pins in your hair and you go to take it out and you're like, oh my god, ow. That's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight to have in your hair. After you've had enough updos as a prom child or as in pageants too. And that was freaking awful.
You were in pageants?
He was.
I bet you there's some good stories out of that.
There, you know, like the Toddlers and Tiara show where like the moms are like screaming at their toddler who didn't like dance to Shirley Temple properly. That happens in real life.
Stop.
This little girl won a national pageant that I was in, and over like everyone, there was like Miss, Teen Miss, Little Miss, Junior Miss, blah blah blah, and there was like all these outside categories. And this little girl won the whole thing, had the cutest little like animal crackers in my soup thing, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, that was amazing!" She gets off the stage. Her mother, who had been standing behind the judges' table, and was like choreographing throughout the whole thing, starts yelling at her because she missed like one little dance move.
Like she
I was like,
won.
this
Shut up.
girl is gonna need so much therapy.
How much therapy have you required from that?
Luckily, my mom was not a pageant mom. It was like one of those things that we just did for fun.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So I got like senior supreme spokesmodel once.
Nice.
That was based off of like a speech in like my community service hours. I did zero work for that one.
How old were you?
Like 13. I like,
So is that hairspray, not hairspray? Or what
This is
that?
the
this is the 13 and I'm just I heard somewhere that
What
like
is that, too?
it's a hairspray, but it's like a light hold workable one, so she can
Yeah.
use it while she's detailing
I
and
would
it's
say
not
it's
gonna make the
like
hair
medium
crispy.
hold.
Okay.
On a scale of 0 to 25, this has a hold index of 13.
I'm a 25.
That's what it says on the bottle.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, where do you come up with this shit?
I'm not that scientific. That's what it says on the bottle. Yeah, so
That's hilarious.
no, but one of the Instagram accounts that I follow, like one of the like insanely talented Russians.
But is he a
They are
guy?
insanely talented. It's crazy to me.
I want to go take their class.
Right.
There's one in California. It's like $1,000 for
So
like
good though.
several days, and the one person I know that went and took it said that like she did all these big fluffy curls and she thought she did a great job, and the person came over and was like, someone would like it.
I can imagine
I was
myself
like,
making too.
I want to go. I want them to make me cry and question whether or not I should be in this industry. 'Cause that's how I live.
Someone would like it.
How much therapy does she need for that?
I know, right?
Right?
Minnesota's too nice.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, I do want to go there and have them mentally, verbally, and psychologically abuse me a little bit. Worth it. At least I'll have good stories.
Right?
I forgot to curl this section, so just ignore me. I got distracted talking about beauty pageants.
It happens.
Oh my gosh. At one of the
Burping
national
donut holes.
pageants that I was in though, there was this
And
little
Pepsi.
girl.
Oh no.
There was this girl behind me in line that just stood there mean mugging me the whole time. So that's like a thing that they're taught. Like these like career pageant queens, like they're taught. I don't know what they're like in Miss America, but like these are like the smaller name like national pageants and stuff. She's just like standing there like
Trying to throw you
just
off your
staring
game.
at me like eye contact, and I'm like, stop! I'm really introverted. And you're freaking me out. I'm already shaking. I don't want, you're already gonna beat me, okay? You don't even have to try.
Missy was gonna try to come today. And I told her she didn't have to.
I know, she texted me too and I was like, you really don't need to.
She was like, I'm gonna try and come anyway. I wanna see everybody. I'm like, okay. But now I can't check my messages because I'm recording. I'm like, I wonder if she's been like, eh.
No, she said she was on her way.
Oh, she.
Yeah.
Glad She's almost over,
Shows
but
up when it's done.
well, it's hard. Missy struggles with the fact that she doesn't like meet everybody.
She wanted to meet
Yeah.
everybody, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
she
she
doesn't.
said that at 1:36, so she should be here any minute.
No,
But yeah, she wanted to meet everybody because she hasn't yet.
she is. If I were in her shoes, I would not come.
I wouldn't either.
Like, you know, I mean, she
Not at all.
doesn't even do hair.
Yeah.
It's like not beneficial to her at
Like,
all.
her commitment to it is just
I know.
Right.
It's great.
above the rest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't come. I tried convincing her not to come too. And then she convinced me to convince her to say
come.
that she should come.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
right,
like,
right, right, right,
clearly
right,
you want to come.
Let's just
Now
go.
I'm convinced you should come. You're clearly missing out.
Yeah.
It's like, Missy, I don't know what just happened.
I guess you should be here.
Yeah. I feel like you're needed now, even though you're not.
I should mention that when I'm using the crimper on an area of the head that's going to be highly visible, like on the roots of their tendrils, I don't pinch it all the way down,
I was wondering
because
that.
otherwise you're going to look like you walked out of the 80s and nobody
Right, I
wants
avoid
that.
the front area because I'm always terrified of having the crimping marks, and I've seen it
I
on
just
people's updos.
barely tap it, and the nice thing is like in pictures it's not really gonna show up, but people in person, they will see that if you have it too aggressive.
So are you backcombing the pieces that are going to be
Yeah,
down
so
right
I
now?
need to turn her, so
Let's
yeah.
see how you're
so
detailing the front here.
I usually save this till last, but if I've got a piece that I know is gonna be kind of draping over this, I don't wanna like mess with that once I get that in place. So I crimp it a little bit, backcomb the roots, and then clean up the surface.
People are always so worried when you start backcombing the front pieces. It's going to be fine.
I promise. Don't quote me on it though. I have a really irrational, maybe it's not entirely irrational, but I have an irrational fear that one day I'm gonna end up losing grip of the curling iron and
Oh my
hitting
god.
somebody in the face with it.
Oh, I've dropped it on people.
I have
how you
to.
doing?
You're like,
please
please
don't.
today.
I don't plan on starting on you, but I can't even promise.
I'm definitely, I think I've dropped it like 4 times on people.
I usually just catch it, lands on their lap. I'm like, ugh, that sucks.
Sorry about it.
Or it hits their shoulder. I'm like, you're okay. Everybody calm down.
No skin contact, fine.
I did just burn somebody's ear though
Oh.
recently. I know, I felt really bad. I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. She was like, it's okay, it just hurts. I was like, ah!
That's the worst. You're like mad, you're just, it's just painful.
It just really hurts. It's just bleeding, it's fine.
Have blisters on my fingers.
Just burning
Gosh,
for like 30 minutes now.
Yeah, I think that's like been maybe one of the only times it's ever happened. Hi!
Hello.
We were just talking about
So
you.
nice of you to join us.
No, I'm like, I was in a different time zone for a very short period, and that must have been the time that I looked at the class.
I did that. I had all sorts of issues with that when you guys were texting me and I was gone, and I'm like, gosh, what time is that? I don't
Yeah.
know. What time is it? I gotta.
The place I was
Time
in, Florida
zone is not-
doesn't do daylight savings apparently, so it wasn't in a different time zone there. I must have been like in the airport when I checked. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good, Missy. It's all good. These donut holes are really good.
Somebody else eat them. Just pass them around.
Here, take it. Cram it over here.
We need a cocoa.
We're having a very good class so far.
Lots of swearing.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that's my kind of party.
I usually tell my clients, because like if there's a piece of hair that's like not cooperating, I'm like, fucking I'm like, sorry, you gotta talk dirty to it a little bit. You gotta cooperate. Usually gets a chuckle and saves my ass a little bit.
I always end up apologizing. I'm so sorry. I don't normally swear like this. And then I'm like, oh.
Yes, I Like, say, wait a second.
My ex-husband was in construction and I always swore way more than him. I'm like, listen, if you worked in my industry, you understand. Okay? That's the only way for us to release tension.
So much attention to detail. Like, I love it. You've been working on that section for a little bit, making it perfect.
Yeah, and like usually my hands work faster when I'm not, nervous and teaching
Yeah.
a class with a bunch of people staring at me. The funny thing is that like I'll have moms that are like, do you care if I watch? And I'm like, no, I love when people watch. But then as soon as I'm actually like having to do something where people are intentionally watching, I'm like, don't watch. Please, God, look away.
But I like it. It's showing, that's what I wanted to see. Like, so far, it's just fantastic. Like, the attention to detail. You didn't just curl that and walk away. There's effort put in there to make it look exactly how you want it to look.
Yes.
And that is a very pretty curl.
So far, she's got 3 bobby pins and 2 ponytails in her hair. Like, that's it.
It's impressive.
Dang. That is impressive.
Alright. So. Sometimes, no, this is not, again, it's not the same for every client. Sometimes I'll start like pinning this stuff first and then add that stuff in. But for her hair length, like there's not a whole lot of length to work with and stuff once we've got it like all secured up because of her layers and whatnot. So I'm probably gonna secure her sides up in here first so that I have the ability to like hide pins and whatnot with that at the end. Because then what happens is I'll pin all this in and then I don't have enough hair left over and then I'm like, oh my god, where do I pin this where it's gonna like be hidden? So, that was why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Kind of, sort of, I think.
That hair is perfectly prepped, Kimmy. That's impressive.
I always reach for bobby pins when I'm right there.
I do the same thing.
I work smarter, not harder with everything but the bobby pins.
But you try. I mean, you do have the bracelet.
I'm doing the best I can. I'll try to like pivot as I'm doing some of this so like other people can see those sides too.
Your highlights look confusing too.
That's another thing I forgot to mention is like half of what I'm doing with any given client is I'm trying to drape things in a way that you don't get striping. If they've
Right.
got like brown out highlights and stuff, like on this side, you see it more where she's got like her brown out highlights there. If I
Right.
just like pulled this back and then pulled that back, you know, she's gonna have like this huge just like
Blank. Yeah.
chunk
Right.
there, like, so I try to soften it and pull some of the blonde from like up here down to like blend that out slightly.
No more holes, right?
No what?
holes.
No holes.
No new holes. Only the old ones. Old dried out ones. That's just me, sorry guys. Tried a little day in my brain, I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit perverted. I'm just, it's okay, good sorry. I'm so close to it, I'm so sorry.
That's what I always feel when you're in like a cramped hotel room and like somebody's sitting right here and you're like, God dang it.
So right there.
Please make your grandma move.
Yes. I love the stories of like hairstylists having to pass gas and they're like blow drying. They're like, I just blow it away.
That's fantastic.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've done that when I was like working in the salon, but like I'm in my own studio now and I can't do that. I just have to hold
Could
it
you
up.
imagine if your hairstylist somebody was like, oh God.
And how awkward is it to just be like, I'll be right back, and then you come right
Right.
back. It's like,
I think there was one time ever that I accidentally did like poot audibly in front of a client. I was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into me. Just
You were like, I was clenching and it just
straight
won't
in your
lift.
feet out there. Just came out. So I'm like trying to do this where like Sabrina's like Hannah, I know it too, it's on the tip of my tongue.
It's okay, there's video.
The only reason I remember any of the people's names that I work with regularly, like I've worked with Sabrina for like almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
Because of that, I remember her name. If
Yeah.
I've met you within the last 2 to 3 years. I will remember your face. I remember faces. I remember all of your faces from Venmoing me.
You remember their trial?
What's your names? I have to meet you at least 16 times before I'll remember your name.
That's how I am with brides as well. Like,
Oh, I never remember.
I'll be looking on like a Thursday night, like, all right, I got so and so's wedding, and I'm like, who the hell is that? And I literally, because I'll look at their name, like, I have no idea. I have to go and dig up to the calendar when was their trial, so I can look up the pictures. Like, oh, that makes sense.
I hate it when I see them afterwards. I'm like, did I do that then?
I know.
I was just doing
I
that,
don't remember
sifting
her.
through, I was looking at like tagged pictures on the Primped
Yes.
Instagram. I was
When
like,
did I
she
do
looks
that?
vaguely familiar.
And they'll be like, you did my wedding.
Oh, that's
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a bridesmaid now.
I for
they're
sure
like,
enjoyed it.
I had a bride, was it this season that like sat in my chair for her trial, and she's like, yeah, you did so and so's wedding, also through Primped, and she showed me a picture of her hair, and I was like, I definitely did not do that.
Yeah.
Not my work.
Did you just drag that hair?
Just like kind of
Remember?
I dragged
quick
it like a hair straightener. You can also curl the hair with the crimper if you want to be more efficient. So she doesn't
Yeah,
have it
it's
straight pieces, but it's like doing it like with a.
Oh, that's fun.
I can't even curl hair with a flat iron. I'm
If
not
you
gonna
want
try.
texture and a curl in one, it's like curling with a flat iron, except you just do that. And there's already a little bit of a curl in it, so like if I need to enhance a curl and the texture at the same time without flattening out a curl, it's already in there, I'll do that. And then I get that texture and grip. And then especially if there's crimping in here, you have to.
Right into the left.
Perfect.
Let me see, open the door.
I'll just lean over.
It's a little tight.
To the left.
Yeah, it's pink.
I promise it doesn't normally take me this long to do anything.
We're talking, you're demonstrating. This
We're
is.
talking and
I'm not
demonstrating.
judging the time it's taking you. We're fine.
I don't know that they're not judging.
Well, maybe they are, but listen, I'm okay.
Not at all. I'm just glad I came today because I'm learning some things.
I'm glad
I
I
don't.
came today. I was looking at the clock and I was like, I'm all gonna be there. I'm gonna be like an hour late. It's fine, guys. I almost texted Victoria and was like, I'm so sorry, but like, can we reschedule? Like, I don't know what to do here. It was
Fine,
literally
we all made it.
12:40 when I left my studio, and like, thank God for Venmo
That's stress
accepting
and
payments,
anxiety.
because I didn't have to sit there and like run the credit card and all that crap. So just send me your money and leave.
Well, you were in the salon right before this?
Yeah, I had a client called me yesterday asking if she could get in for a full
Look at that
oil,
detailing.
and I couldn't get her in.
That's amazing. So much attention to that. That's what make your updo so good.
Why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah, right?
The same as everybody else.
So they pay me the big bucks.
I'll have clients that are like, why don't you just start your own business? I'm like, so I can pay somebody 30% of my income to be an assistant? Why? Because I will go out of business immediately. I tell Missy and Victoria all the time, like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing ADHD for that shit. You guys have to like remind me to answer
Like
emails.
emailing
so
all that
sometimes.
is
I
shame.
know.
It's terrible.
I wouldn't do it on my own either.
No,
I would never go
go
back
out
to
of
doing it
business
on my
so
own.
fast.
You can spin me.
I have no desire to ever do it on my own ever again.
No.
Nope, just managing my own schedule for my studio is hard enough. I don't want to answer
Just
emails.
managing trial runs. Are you
Literally.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Literally the fact that the main reason that I still sub for Primped is because you guys put things in the calendar, not me.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, she's like, I'll stick with you guys, it's fine.
Other than you guys being awesome, it was like from a business perspective, that's like one of the main reasons, because I tried working when I first started doing Braille. I tried working for another company.
Where you had to do it yourself. It's terrible.
They got you in touch with the bride, and then you had to put it in your own calendar.
I don't understand what they were doing anyways. Like, what are you doing?
to help me.
Yeah.
Why am I paying him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Why
I was like,
are
we'll
you
take
getting a cut?
We'll fix it.
But that's the
feel like
worst
they
when
were
you're
making their
like
money.
literally doing a full foil and your next client walks in like, oh fuck, I forgot to schedule.
It's the worst when it's one of your own friends that's also a stylist. Like I went down all the way down to Oak Park Heights to one of my friends who has a studio down there, and I'm like, I walk in, her studio mate's like, oh hi, she went to Starbucks, and I sit in her chair and I'm waiting for her, and she walks in and she's like, oh, did we schedule you today? I'm actually waiting on another client. I was like, oh, nope, we didn't schedule me today. It's fine. But that would be me.
So you're doing some backcombing here,
Yep.
adding
I
some
do.
product.
Same thing that I did on basically any section that I'm leaving out that's gonna get like draped at some point somewhere.
Mhm.
Almost always gets backcombed at the roots somewhere. Just so that it like all masks itself
Mhm.
and like hides these parts that I secured up here, because when it's all backcombed at the roots, like I keep the surface of it nice and smooth. I'll add like my smoothing lotion there and stuff, but when I go to pin that, like that's completely hiding the section that I pulled up into the ponytail. So these are all gonna like get pulled up, and like there'll be some like detailing like left out. So these are my little back tendril pieces that'll get pinned up at the end. We're just prepping it for now. Okay, now for the fun part that takes me the longest. The pinning doesn't take me the longest, but deciding how I want it to look.
Picking where those curls are gonna go.
That part usually depends on how big and floofy and high they want this to be. Like if I have somebody who wants like a really high, like on their head updo, like I won't bother with so much of this. Like I know I have some of this up here, but like I have some brides that like literally want it on top of their head. I'm not going to make this whole poof just to turn around and cover it.
Right.
But Katie said she wanted it on the crown of the head.
Katie's got a lot of opinions.
She's honestly one of the worst clients in the world.
Yeah.
Alright, I want a little more smoothing lotion.
More smoothing cream.
I'm such a textile oriented person that like I can't work if I can feel a bunch of frizz like sticking to my hands and stuff.
That's what keeps updo so from being frizzy.
Mm-hmm.
Is control with the product.
Yeah, it really works in my favor.
Yeah.
Smooth her down. I would say that my Kenra 13 and my smoothing lotion are the two products I go through the fastest.
Have you used any other smoothing lotions and had opinions on those, or is this just kind of the one that's you've tried and you've just stuck with it?
I just tried this one because when I worked at Salon Montage, I worked with Moroccan oil, and I knew specifically that I liked. I don't even know why I grabbed these particular pens out because I don't like this. I was distracted because people were looking at me. I just knew that I liked this particular smoothing lotion and how lightweight it is and how well it absorbs into the hair without leaving a residue. So I just picked out that one smoothing lotion and just never had to try anything else. I have tried a bunch of different like medium hold hairsprays. It'd be nice if I could find one that is less fragrance than Kenra, because there are clients that want less fragrance that I like. And I will say like the Maria Nilla brand that I use in my studio, like her styling spray is not terrible. Still don't like it as much as the Kenra 13 as far as holding power.
Have you tried the Allurum brand?
Not yet.
I really like it, and it's not as like crazy smelly.
Okay, look at this here.
So I start poking. This is the hedgehog part. I start kind of placing it where I want it. This is where I start dropping shit. So, see? Holes.
That's what it sounds like around me every time I work.
I feel seen. scene when I work with you, Victoria, because we're just
A lot of the same
really
problems.
hot. So I'm just gonna kind of play, because oftentimes I'll sit here and I'll like put stuff where I think I want it, and I'll end up changing it. So
Do you did you prep that? Did you put the light texture spray all throughout the hair right there and then smooth it?
I put some in, yes. I didn't go crazy with it because I didn't want it to have too much friction. Like I didn't put as much in as I would on like a braid that I'm gonna pull apart. Yeah, no, sometimes I'll pin this and I won't like where I put it, so that's why I use the hairpins.
Yeah, I gotta start doing that. Your humming reminds me of working with Sabrina. Anytime the music's not loud enough or it's quiet or
I know,
something,
I
she
start
just starts singing.
Was I humming?
You did for just a second. Yep.
I do. I don't realize that I do a lot of like this weird stimming things that I do. I do this like happy dance every time I eat too. And my boyfriend thinks it's the funniest thing in the world, and I don't notice I'm doing it until he points it out, and I'm like, don't stop making me feel uncomfortable about my happy dance. He's like, I just think it's cute. And I'm like, well, stop. I need to be able to do my happy dance in peace. Now I'm gonna be hyper aware of my humming, so thanks, Victoria.
Sorry. I know, sorry.
I can hear myself breathing.
I was gonna say we can hear your pins drop.
I feel attacked.
Don't be, there's a reason you're up there and we're not. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet. I don't like it when I get these like wispy pieces that you can like see through.
Yeah, I don't like this either.
So that'll go away eventually. I'm gonna do something about that. Maybe. It's Katie. She doesn't matter.
Katie don't care.
Your
Just
feelings
kidding.
don't matter.
You're just going to swimming lessons like for yourself.
I do have to say, like, this is giving me the Sunday scaries. I work for Target, so like, thinking of all the emails and
You should be relaxed right now.
Sorry,
Right?
Katie.
I know, I'm like, oh, there's the most.
I start looking up.
Should have brought my laptop.
Right? I didn't even think about that.
No, this was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh, you're right across from the distribution center. Okay.
Prepare my brain.
Try not to cry.
It's Monday.
I know.
Forgets about it until you turn towards the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Every swing of the chair. Just smacking
Just
your face.
re-traumatize you.
Yeah.
It's not the
Over and
spinning that's
over
making him nauseous.
It's
the time
my
to
work.
I'm doing it again. Fuck you, Victoria.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, that was
I can put music on. That's okay. I can take it.
I'm never gonna be able to hum again.
You'll forget about it after today.
Yeah, I will. Until I see either of you again and start humming again.
It's okay, I usually sing, so you can hum, I'll sing.
I feel like we should really like harmonize.
Well, I'm not good.
Neither am
I
I.
tell people I'm just like, if you don't want to hear me sing because I'm not good, then you should probably turn on like, I didn't do that, right?
Yeah,
It's your fault, I'm singing. It's your fault, like 100% your fault. It's quiet in here, I'm singing.
My if it isn't the consequences of your own actions. We didn't turn on music,
Right?
Here we are.
I hate wedding parties that don't have music.
I know we suggest. Did you just want to put some music on?
Like, who brought the speakers?
I know. Like, let's put some music on.
I've
That
having to,
COVID wedding that we
retrain
did, there was
myself
like no
So
music. It was
quiet.
so
Weird.
weird, and it was like
They didn't speak
The
any
bride
English.
wasn't
We were like,
there. It was no English.
there's like no chat. It was dead silent the
That
whole
sounds
time.
I had a
Horrendous.
bridesmaid with like 12 hairs.
12 hairs.
Yeah.
Oh.
What'd you do with the 12 hairs?
For her. Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, what did you do with the 12 hairs?
I don't know. I looked decent, but I didn't take any pictures. I don't know. I just did a lot of backcombing, tons of
Fluff.
fluff.
How did they tell you what they wanted?
Not
Cheers.
easily.
None of them knew like what they wanted that day.
One lady wanted
swear.
like American bangs.
Yeah, I remember.
So it was a really amazing wedding. The sad
Is
part.
that the one who had COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so sad.
She was, so the bride ended up having COVID that morning, but so she was adopted and her whole family from Korea came over for the wedding.
Yeah.
And she couldn't attend
And she
her own
got
wedding.
COVID.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she
she
was
was the
bride.
So what
She
they
was
did,
really sick.
like she was like actively ill, because I was like, she's
Oh, no.
gonna come, right?
Right.
And so she had one of her like best friends who was her maid of honor, kind of did like translation, like, you know, work to cover like the language barriers that there were. But it was just, they were really nice. It was just like there was
She
no,
wasn't there. Like there
no,
was,
she didn't. So what they were going to do,
Get married.
no, they went to her.
Yeah,
They
Oh.
were leaving.
They were supposed to do that, and then
they
she
had
was
the
too
party
sick.
without her.
Yeah, so they drove to her house
Oh my
and did
gosh.
the wedding on the front yard,
Yeah.
and then everybody went back to the reception.
That's so sad.
What'd you say?
She's like yelling from the door, I do.
Yeah. It was so sad. I felt so bad. Like
That is so
the
sad.
family like flew over for the. I mean,
You
oh,
don't hear that more often though of a bride being sick.
I know.
I
that
think
would
we
just
need
power
Or how many
through
weddings
that.
right.
Like,
I
I had a bride and a neck brace.
and a what?
At my neck brace.
Really?
Yep, she fell down a set of stairs. She has
with
a
anything.
neck brace.
She
Yeah,
fell?
yeah.
So I'm like,
She
right?
fell. She's a lot like was at a brewery and she was going down the
Yes.
stairs to go to the bathroom downstairs and she ended up taking a tumble and she was like, I
This
was
is
shocked
happening.
at how
In a
good of
party
a
size
sense of humor
anytime
she
they
had
had
about
that.
it because she was like, yeah, I'm just like clumsy and she's like banged up.
Yeah.
I think it was
That would've been
it was
way
a
too
Flea that had
Yes,
her makeup and she
anything.
like covered it like the black eyed
Oh my
Because
gosh.
they read that weekly. I'm like,
So she, I'm sorry, I would not wear the neck brace. I'd be like, I'll be damaged for life. I'm not wearing this thing today. I know. I'd be like, it's fine.
I had a wedding party and they were all deaf.
Oh really?
Yes. So that was weird. Then the maid of honor was so sick from the party before, the night before, so she kept having to get up to vomit, and then like she couldn't tell me because she couldn't speak.
Oh.
So in the middle of the day, she said she had to run to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a long day.
Oh,
So, I think
how did you know what they wanted?
They had one that could speak, that could translate.
Oh,
So one of the
man.
bridesmaids could actually translate, and it wasn't that.
Crazy.
So yeah, and they were like the nicest people though. But yeah, it was kind of so. It was worse because she had kept getting up to puke. I was like, oh god. Just don't mess up your hair. Don't get it in your
I had
hair.
a bride
I'm
like
not
that.
touching your hair. I'm not touching your hair if you puke in it.
Yeah.
And the bride was like really terrible to us in the emails. She was really horrible.
Yeah, you had the girl who was so mean.
She was super mean. And
do?
I put that
she was just really rude during the emails. I don't remember. But then on the wedding day, she was so hungover, she had to go lay in her mom's truck and sleep while like other people were getting ready. And we were in this tiny salon, and you could hear her like hurling her brains out in the bathroom. But she was literally so ill, and I was just doing makeup. I don't think I was doing any hair.
Yeah.
She was like bent over and like, okay, hold on.
Oh.
And then she's like, oh, hold on.
Why would you worse? Why would you?
Oh, and then she just be up again. It was
I'm like,
awful.
So
But so then I called Missy afterwards and I was like, you're gonna love this. Like she was so sick, and Missy, I was like, calm as a bitch, and Missy goes, I just feel really bad for her.
I was like, she was really not a nice person.
No.
She was really awful. But like,
She ended up sending us a thank you card with a picture of her and her husband on it from like the reception, like a thing. And she goes, thanks so much. I definitely rallied, and it's like they're doing shots. That's gotta hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Jamie had one who had vomit in her hair.
Oh God.
Oh.
And her sister had to call one of those IV companies. To
Oh yeah.
while she was getting it.
Wait,
Why would you party like that the night
I
before?
know.
Why would you not wash your hair?
that
I know.
That was a bride?
Yeah, the bride. And
Ew.
Jamie
Should
said
we
she
go wash
kept
it?
gagging
Like,
from
take
the
a
smell.
Oh.
I said you have to wash that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Go wash and blow dry. See you in 40.
It's looking so pretty and
Yeah.
soft. Not a single fly away. Look at that.
Well, when I'm standing 2 inches from it, I'm like, there's flyaways everywhere.
It does
Lindsay
look
had a
so
bride who in the morning was
40.
hungover and anxious, and she took like a Xanax, a couple gummies, and was doing like shots of something.
Oh my God.
And I was like, was she like functioning? And she looked super straight laced in the pictures too. And she was like, yeah, she was like totally fine, right?
I would have been
too.
Oh yeah, it was.
I would have been What?
Your bride, Lindsay, I think her name was Billy. Lindsay did makeup on her.
I think it was at the Whim.
Maybe, I don't know, like a year.
I
maybe a year or
delete
two.
them after they.
She was
Good
like,
luck.
Lindsay
Make
said
room
she
for
was
them.
super
Can you share real
anxious
quick?
and like took a Xanax and then was drinking champagne and like ate a gummy and
Like doing all of the things.
Really twisted and then pinned the pieces.
Nope, don't even remember.
Jenna was telling me to wash it down.
My bed.
no remember.
I don't remember.
Maybe she waited till she was in Lindsay's chair to do it.
Right?
It's hard to do when I'm not actually looking at the rest of like your face and stuff.
It looks great. So far.
Thanks. I did it myself.
I love when I'm done with somebody and I'm like, oh my god, you look so pretty. Like, oh my god, look at your hair. Or like,
You're probably like your like goals, like excitement goals. Every time I work a wedding with you, you're like, oh my god, you look so good.
like I'm surprised every time. Oh my
It brings me so much joy.
Oh god.
I love your singing skills during weddings.
Me?
I've only worked like 2 of them, I think, with
I
you.
only
but-
bust those out every so often.
Sing at weddings?
Like
To the music
sometimes.
in the background.
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh no.
It has to be a good song, probably, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I was telling Sabrina a minute ago, like if I've got a braid that wants like a much floopier bun, like bigger or higher on the head or whatever, if they don't have enough hair, I do use bun forms for that.
Yes.
I take the big donuts and I just cut them to whatever size I want for any given client.
I've been using those so much more, like the last year or so. I just keep them in my kit. I feel like there was a time where it was like, only if a bride needed it, I'd go and buy it, you know? But
Sometimes they're easier for us.
yeah, no, I just
Yeah.
keep them in there and I'm like, it makes everything so much easier.
Yep.
The issue I have is that I never remember to have a scissors with me, and I only keep a razor in mine, so I'll be like, or I'm asking a makeup artist, like, can I use your scissors? And they're this big.
I just pre-cut a whole shit ton of them and like shoved them in my
I need to
bag.
do that. I've done it here where I haven't had anything, and I tried to use a line opener. Like I was sawing through it, and the bride was like, "This doesn't really look like that's working." I was like, "Oh, it isn't."
I got my little craft scissors with as much bigger as my regular shears.
Do you really?
For that reason, yes.
Do you keep like regular shears in your hair kit for weddings?
Yep. I
I do
have
too.
like a little thing and it has a razor, a thinning shears, a regular set of shears, and then my craft scissors.
Just keep a razor in there. I need to get out of
Don't
here.
you have to cut little pieces?
I use a
in front?
razor.
Same.
Oh.
That's what I have in mine.
But I do need to have a scissors in my kit. I like will be trying to nip through a donut this thick. Eyelash clippers. Ooh, are you gonna leave some of those hairs out? Have you reached the point of the updo where you're sick of it yet and you want to move on with life?
Not yet. It doesn't happen very often.
Oh, really? I get there.
That
That's
happens.
your ADD
It
page.
is. It is. I'm like, I've been doing this forever.
I want to do something new.
What happens for me is that
Go
I
paint
like,
a lamp.
I like dissociate. I dissociate from reality and I will forget that there's people around or that I'm on a timetable and I'm just like, oh, this is so pretty and I want to
Having so much fun.
I feel like I can do that a lot more with updos. It's like the Hollywood ways, and where you just have to curl and curl and curl. Like I'm just like I just
Keep
want to.
brushing, just brush.
Yeah, I just want to leave.
Okay, I have a question. How do you guys deal with braids if they have super thin hair and they want like this nice thick braid?
Say no.
Yeah.
That's what I typically I do,
I
right?
literally tell them no.
I
out
tell
there.
them that it's fake
I'm like,
hair
it's,
too.
yeah, it's not gonna look the same, even with
Okay.
like products.
That's
and
what I
stuff.
tell them
Remotely
too,
close,
and then
yeah.
I try to talk them out
I
of it.
usually will switch them over, like if they really want that thing, I'll usually switch them over to a twist, and I'll be like, listen, I
Yeah.
can get a lot more volume, make your hair look a lot
Twist.
thicker.
I hate
And also
losing
I
braids.
feel
hate
like,
braids when they ask for it.
I mean, Kimmy's really good at that. Should have her maybe teach something on that too. But I think it's really weird to incorporate a braid. Like
Yeah,
sometimes
there are
I love it,
lots
and I'm
of
like, oh, that
braids
looks
are
great. But I
fun.
feel like a twist incorporates a lot better.
I agree.
For me, it's gotta be like a boho style. I don't love braids though.
I know, I don't
Oh,
either.
I
I hate when they
see.
wear braids there.
Whitney did a braid class like years ago. It was in our old studio.
I was there, and it was that 4 or 5 strand braid blew my mind.
Yes, but she
All
did
those
one of those. I
five-strand
have
braids are so
fine hair,
fun.
and
Yeah.
she did one, and I couldn't believe how big,
How big
she
it
made
looked?
it look.
Yeah.
That's like
It
her
was
like
That's my biggest
specialty.
thing is
Yeah,
having the.
I think you have to put in a lot of poofer spray.
Crimping.
I was
To
like,
crimping,
I try to talk
crimping.
about
Hair
it too.
for
And
scalps.
extensions. Andrea's really good at, I don't know if she still works for you guys.
Andrea Johnson.
Hints.
Hints.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
she does, but
Yeah,
she doesn't
she's
work.
like, she did my hair for my wedding, and she did a really pretty like what's that, fishtail.
I feel like you also have to really, when somebody wants a braid, you have to ask them a lot of questions, and like,
Yeah.
because sometimes they'll be like, I just want my hair pulled all the way back and then have the braid right here, and you're like, but no, don't
Right.
do that. You want to have
Right.
like something
Yeah,
here, you know.
you
So I
don't
feel like
actually
whenever
want
somebody
it.
says they want a
Right.
braid, there's like a lot more
They don't really
conversation
know what
coming
they
into
Right.
it,
I would
right?
say that's fake hair. Her hair's
Yeah.
not gonna be that thick.
Perfectionism's in there.
It's fun for me. I've never seen you work, Kimmy.
It's
I always see the after, and I'm like, how the heck
I
did
think
you do that?
I like working with everybody, and I love watching everybody. There's always something that I will get from
Yeah.
it. I remember working a wedding maybe like a year or two ago, and Allie, you were doing hair right next to me, and you weren't doing anything that was like boggling, you know, like it was like a half up or something, but you did something, and I was so distracted, like I was trying to do makeup, and I was just like, what is going on? And it was just like some little different technique, right? Like I just love seeing that.
Yeah.
It's interesting watching Kimmy though, and I think it's because you are like fully absorbed into doing this. Like, oftentimes I'm like, I want to get this done.
I was
But,
just
like,
gonna say, I would
you were
totally
enjoying
over
this.
this by now.
Yeah.
I would have been like, get the F out of my chair, actually. I'm
Yeah.
over you.
Yeah.
Our conversation is dead. And
That's how it's gonna be. You're
Yeah.
done.
This is it. It's a half off now.
It's half up.
Just don't look at it.
I'm not as committed to a style, though. I'm just not.
No, but that's why I like watching her. It's like perfection on every level. You have like that attention to detail.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna pick that up from this class, and I do love some of the tips, but I'm not going to be
Not that
this-
perfectionist.
No.
Well, good, because then you won't cut into my niche.
I'm waving the niche.
I'll keep my clients, thank you.
Peace out on the Minnesota niche.
I don't have much going for me in life, so
You got all this. It's all yours.
this is all I got. I know Missy was telling me how you're moving to Florida, and she's like, we're really sad. And I was like, that is super sad, but also good for me. So,
More weddings.
More weddings for me.
more of those farm weddings now that I live up in fuck nowhere.
Oh, that's right.
Don't talk to me about it.
Well, you two were never
Well, since
usually
you
on the
said that, I'm
same
gonna ask
level.
Yeah,
Right.
she
I know.
was usually on the north
Because
side
you
and I
both
was
do
on the
both,
south
so I
side.
put you in.
Mhm.
But I would be in Chisago City, but it's not necessarily closer to me. It's the same distance
Yeah.
to Minneapolis as Chisago City, but
Yeah, she's like, this is a little away from
Now?
Anchorage, yeah.
yeah, it's
Aren't you
45.
like an hour from Minneapolis?
45. 45 from Minneapolis, 45 from Chisago.
So
I
I was
have
like,
to look at the map. Is it Redeemed Farm is closer than Minneapolis?
No, they're not necessarily closer, it's just different traffic. Yeah.
she's Chisago is just, it's up Highway 8 and it goes like up around some lakes and stuff, so it's just an inconvenient commute. It's not like a straight shot, like,
I like the variety.
Yeah,
You like what?
The variety. I don't always want to go to
it's a
Minneapolis.
pretty drive, right?
It's kind of
Sago?
nice, honestly.
That's where my sister lives.
To have weddings all over the place, because not being from Minnesota originally, we're like, me and my husband will be like driving out and like, oh, I was here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I've driven all over the metro.
Yeah.
Take some out of town?
All Missy here. So what you're saying is, you want to travel.
You want to go stay?
okay, but there was one wedding that I had to work way up by Detroit Lakes. And it was at this like little lakeside like resort. So, you know, it's one of those places that like has all the tiny cabins with like the community bathroom, you know.
The one that caught fire and burned down. Oh.
No, that
was
was
terrifying.
Yeah, no, that's what that was.
Sad.
But the
I know.
I had worked all day doing wedding stuff. It was like a Friday and then I worked a Saturday wedding out there. It was where the bride and groom had like met each other growing up. That's why I youth
Oh, was
retreat.
it the Painesville one?
I don't even know if I worked
No.
I don't even know if it was with Grant. It might have been the other agency that I worked for years. Like the first year I started working with you guys, it was the one other agency that I tried working for briefly. And okay, so when I start pulling up the bottom pieces, I twist it, and then I hold it like where I'm gonna wanna pin it, and then I pull it out however much I want to. But I take it in like V-shaped sections usually, like I'll do like a V in the middle, and then I'll do like a triangle this way, and then a triangle that way, or however I need to do it, depending on their scalp real estate.
Katie has extensive scope.
In other words, you got a nice big brain.
Poor Katie, she's like, do I have a huge head now?
She got a complex.
I know. I just stare at Target all day. And you told she has a huge head.
She's never doing this again.
No.
Excuse me. But yeah, this wedding that I worked at up north, I had like worked like a print wedding all day Friday, and then I had to drive out to this other wedding. I had a bridesmaid from hell at that wedding that I then had to see at another wedding like 2 years later.
Oh, you remember
this-
that one, huh?
I remember her. She was a monster. Anyway, on the way up there though, it's like literally middle of nowhere. Words are hard right now. And I lost service like a half hour out from the resort, and it was like one of those thunderstorms that like gets quiet and the sky is like green.
And you're like, are we gonna die today?
So I'm driving up by myself, and it was a 5-hour drive from the cities, because it was like east of Detroit Lakes or whatever, and the sky is like, it's pounding rain, and then it stops suddenly, and it's green out, and this like huge like wall cloud of like lightning and thunder is happening in the sky, and then I lost service, and I was like, you know how like when you lose service, your GPS will keep going usually until you exit out of an accident or something? It's like, as long as I don't bump any buttons, this will be fine. And it straight up was, it was like a scene out of one of those movies where like your car breaks on the side of the road and somebody comes and like drags you out of your car into the woods. It was terrifying, and I did not love that. No, don't want that. Try that. Put my butter here first. I'll turn it this way so that some of you guys can see what I'm getting to. I take it in like different like V sections and stuff in the back so that they overlap each other. And like I said, I don't get sick of the updos because they don't normally take me this long.
Stress of being
I've had
watched.
this done like 30 minutes ago at least, minimum.
Yeah, you're usually on a tight timetable, so we believe you.
I usually, makeup, makeup is not something that I like can just do blindfolded. So if I've got a lot of makeup services, that's where like I might run behind a little bit, or if somebody has like just an ass ton of hair. Cause I don't know why so many wedding parties still have people sit down with so much damn hair.
Mm-hmm.
They don't warn us, and then they're like, "Oh, I want it all down except for one piece, please."
Here's my
Are you-
5 strips of extensions.
Oh yeah, by the way, I brought an entire weft of clip-ins. Okay, well, go die.
Just go die.
I didn't have anywhere else to be today. It's fine.
Are you guys running into that a lot now that we ask them? And I feel like we're adding that fee a lot
But
for
people still
extra
try
hair.
and get away with it. For
It's a
sure.
lot
They
better, but
definitely
it does still
try to
happen
avoid the
regularly.
fee.
You
Yeah,
charge
they
them?
just don't wanna pay.
Because we ask the 12 weeks, we're like, who's got extra hair? Like, send us pictures if you're not sure, and we give them guidelines. Like, if it's below the brow line.
I
in
feel
the
like
back.
your honest people
Do that?
are
Yeah.
getting charged more for people that they might not necessarily
That's
need to.
definitely-
Yeah.
And
I
then
agree
the
with that.
people who just don't read their emails
agree
or
with
whatever. So
Yeah.
it kind of maybe evens out because you're like, oh, I don't ever tell them, like, oh, sorry, I feel bad you're paying the fee. I just take it
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, oh, you'd be fine because you have long hair, but
Yeah.
it's not thick enough
Yeah.
where it doesn't take me longer. But
And usually those people don't seem to care because we'll be like, you know, if it's on the fence, we're like, well, what do they want to do with their hair? And like,
right,
they're obviously not worried enough about it to like go find that out.
right.
So, I could sometimes we get pictures and I'm like, oh.
I think
don't
it's
know.
often like when you tell them, like if you, it's important to your timeline to let us know. Like
Yeah.
people who are like very committed to like, they're worried about their timeline, they want to make sure they stay on schedule. Those are the brides that'll be good about it. But I feel like a lot of brides just don't even say anything to their bridesmaids. Because often, I swear to you, like every time I get a bridesmaid with crazy hair, I'm like, wow, you have a lot of hair. She's like, yeah, I know. And you're like,
Yeah.
Or like that
like,
one
you know-
girl that had like 300 grams of extensions at one wedding we did, and it was like, I was supposed to do her hair, and you're like, I can take her if you want. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's swap.
Yeah.
let's swap. Yeah, I just, some people don't.
Yeah, I don't like.
Well, you can
having-
always charge them.
It's one of those.
Yeah,
It's one of
it's
those
so
things
awkward.
where
I
It
know.
is awkward.
it's one of those things where you also like don't always have time to sit there and like pull up your Venmo and like charge them money
Yeah.
for this and have the whole conversation because you're already on a tight timeline. If I can't fit your hair in the 30 minutes, I certainly am not going to fit in an extra conversation we need to have about how inconvenient this fucking is.
Yeah. You can also do the thing where like you have 2 or 3 styles in your back pocket for people with too much hair and be like, we only have this much time scheduled.
Yep.
So
If they
this
do
is,
sit down, I have had that conversation.
Yeah.
We don't have time for.
I know you have
with the
no
amount of
problem
hair.
communicating.
Yeah.
It's like, you got too much hair.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you
it is.
cannot have
So you
Hollywood
could be
wigs.
like,
Yeah. No.
I could do these types of styles in this
Yeah,
amount
for
of
sure.
time, otherwise we might not.
I have a hard time charging them, but I do. I
Yeah.
will have the conversation of like, this is what I got. This is what I
That
get.
You will always make up your time. I don't know if you've ever been.
That's what I usually tell them too, is I'm like, it's okay, I'll make up my time. Because I usually do, you know. Some people usually take like 15, 20 minutes.
There's
You know,
always
like,
a mom in there with the short hair.
yeah, but
And no hair. Oh, good. Let's do the same thing
I'll
you
be
do every day.
I'll be so excited.
I know, right?
This is gonna be so fun.
what'd you say, Serena?
The moms, they want the same thing they do every single day.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
a
my
mom,
God.
but they want you to do it
Me
the same
too.
way they do it.
I'm like, and that's fine though. Let me do that in a few minutes. I'm
It's
great.
gonna be great. It's
Yeah.
gonna be so fun and so easy. I'm gonna be done with you in 7 minutes. Easiest 7-minute money.
Just like with a pick.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Just the way I should have smoothed it backwards.
And then like 3 of those minutes are them holding the mirror and they're like, I don't quite like this hair, and you're like, okay.
How about
Better.
You, how about you go fix your bangs? You wanna fix your own bangs? Okay.
You want to curl those yourself?
Yeah. Great. Great. You wanna do your own eyebrows? I'm fine with that.
Oh my God, yeah.
Please.
My probably most frustrating thing is when you are running behind and you finally start to make up that time, and then the next person has been sitting there watching you do the last client for the last half hour or 45 minutes or whatever. And then, like, I mean, literally, I've made eye contact with you. You asked me if you were next 20 minutes ago, and now that it's your turn and you just watch me finish her, you're like, oh, do I have time to use the bathroom?
I know. Maybe I should go put my contacts in.
What am I
That's my
supposed to
least
say?
favorite.
No, I'm
I
not a
should go put my
monster.
contacts in.
That happens a lot.
Yes.
That happens all the time.
Every time.
It's annoying. No, you cannot use the bathroom.
Right. You need to hold it now. This is your punishment.
I have jokingly said that to people and been serious. So.
Oh, I
35, 40 minutes.
Yeah, right. I said it still. You kind of got it, so you're still gonna go.
At least you know I'm annoyed. It's
Irritated, but you know I'm
passive
irritated,
aggressiveness,
yes. We're on the same one. Next time, you're gonna go for it.
Probably not. Those people know.
No, they're not.
Yeah, Sabrina, do you remember, I think it was at Interlochen, like in December, and they had stopped to take pictures of the photographer.
Oh, was I annoyed? I get really
You were-
I get
Yeah, I
super
do.
mad
I
at
do.
that stuff.
But it was the last service that I had. She had sent me back after I had already made up time. And she's like, yeah, I have these extensions. And I'm like,
I do remember that.
there was
you're paying for that.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty good at
for
telling
sure.
photographers, like, no. No.
Yeah.
Like, she
I
can't.
get really
You gotta
irritated
wait a little
with
bit.
that first, yeah. It's why at the trial I have a conversation with Brian. Like, if
Yeah.
you think you're gonna pull people out of my chair to take a picture, you have another phone.
Yep, that's smart.
So
I'm working.
You better have moms at the end or something. Better not be anyone of your bridesmaids in one of those
Or you
photos.
need
I
someone
had
there
that
like
conversation
you or
with them
her
where I'm
who's
like,
gonna be
everybody
like,
always blames
no.
the
Right,
yeah,
and
I'm
it's
like,
not us, it's you guys
usually
don't
the
do
flipping photographer.
You wanna get up at 7:30?
Get over it. Don't get married then, get everybody done. I don't know what to say. Get up at 7:30.
I had a bride's sister.
So stupid.
I
I start at 7:30.
Totally.
I am not a morning person, and I intentionally had my wedding at 4. Like, fuck it, I'm not getting up early. We are not getting up at 6 to have bridesmaids hair done. No.
I had a bride's sister yelling at the bride on her wedding night. She's like, I told you I'm not my person. I didn't want to go first and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, because she was like late getting in my chair, and then the bride was irritated. And I'm like, okay, fair point, but also it's one day out of
Also,
your
it's not
life.
your wedding.
It's not your wedding. Like, can you get over yourself for 5 seconds? You got up one day.
And you just have to sit there.
Yeah, you just have to sit there.
Right, right.
and let me
You're not running. You're not even having your makeup done right now, so just simmer down.
Yes. Okay. I'm just being anal, so you know, you guys get the gist. You've seen most of it. It's not perfect, but it's
Did I see
Gorgeous.
like,
Pretty perfect.
did I see like using the powder play and then like tapping down the little fuzzies?
I was just tapping the powder play into the hair when I did that. I used the smoothing lotion and the hairspray
Oh,
to
for
get
your
the.
swim lessons.
Did you say
I'm
regal?
probably gonna
It's
tell them like,
gonna be a fabulous swim lesson day.
go eat out afterwards.
I'm going on a hot date. Little did you know. We're going into the restaurant today, okay? Delivery is not
Yeah.
picking up. Seriously, I'm getting it. That's pretty.
I wish I had like a hair accessory to put in here to make you look extra fancy.
Oh. There is some in the drawer behind you.
There we go.
To look extra good for
Right
stylists.
behind Jenna. I'm looking at her right there.
Extra.
In that little drawer right there is a bunch of hair pieces. There's also a veil down there if we want to pop that in. Really make the experience good. Some more candy. Pick your poison on the hairpiece. What do you want?
I will
No, oh, you got that, yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like a male veil.
I wasn't kidding.
Who's this?
I offer the experience, okay?
I offer the experience.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
I love that.
If you don't know if you want a veil, this is your time to find out.
Oh, wow.
And then the cathedral link.
If you don't know
I
if you want your
know.
face, this is your time to find out if you want
Options.
your face.
Yep.
I think I have some different kinds in there.
I think I've used up all of my hair pieces that I had as like example pieces because I had brides that like at the last minute were like, oh, I need something, and I just like let them
Wow,
use
you're
it.
way
when I
nicer
did.
than I am. Very nice.
Well, I get them off of like.
I'm like, go to Claire's and pick one up.
Does anybody sell those in their kit? Some people do. like carry.
Oh.
Who?
I don't know, I've heard some people tell me they like keep
I
some.
thought
pieces
one
in
of
their
Melanie
pocket.
made it.
Maybe, yeah. Melanie somehow can fit freaking everything in her.
She's got Mary Poppins bag.
She does have a Mary Poppins bag.
I didn't find my stuff fit in that hair kit nearly as well as her did. That's why I said I want a picture. I'm like, my
Oh,
hair kit.
I've got mine right
I
back
have
there.
mine
Dig
too,
through it. I
but
think it's
I'm
perfect.
I don't have enough room. I want more room.
Really? I think it's perfect. You gotta see what I did in there.
I need to see
It was
what's
very satisfying.
Where's my
organizing it.
picture?
Oh, you did ask for a picture, sorry.
I did.
I mean, Katie, you're ready to go to a bowl.
I know.
Right.
I'm like so disappointed we're wasting swimming. Seriously.
Well,
Not
let us
a
know
single
if
flyaway.
it's
Let us
withstands
know how
the
it holds up in the
humidity.
humidity.
What's your test?
Jump in and see what it's like after.
You know, I did do an updo on my brother's wife, who they were getting married out in a field at her grandparents' farm, and she rode a horse and brought my brother's horse out there with her. So it was like a half-mile ride,
Wow.
and it was downpouring.
Oh.
Her hair stayed though.
Wow.
So, pretty impressive. And their makeup. I did their hair and their makeup, and it looked good after the fact, which was shocking to me and her. So
And now you're gonna show her.
I was just gonna say, now we all want
She's gonna
photos after
say-
swimming lessons. No.
Actually, can you pin all these up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God!
Sure not.
I have
Actually,
gotten that too.
I would love to do that.
Can't wait.
Even though I like it now.
Yeah.
Or they want it bigger.
And they
too.
asked for it.
A lot of times people want it down and I hate it down. I'm like, oh, they're just gonna be everywhere or they're gonna be flat.
yeah, I
They're
don't
gonna be weird.
usually like having
I don't like hanging
tendrils
pieces.
out. The only reason I even did it this way.
I
Why are you
like
laughing every time you say tendrils?
I don't know. I don't know for
Right,
some
it's
reason.
like-
Like I feel like
It's like when somebody's like, and waist.
I
I always
like
say
waist
tendrils.
tendrils.
Do I not know something?
sorry, I did drink a hard cider when I
It's
got
her
here.
safe
so-
word.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie.
It's her safe word.
Parking lot?
No, like I waited till I came in and I opened it and I literally
Why didn't you bring some for all
I
of us?
thought about it.
I mean, I was hoping we could done the time so we could go
I
get a drink
know.
before and like,
I
okay,
thought
we
about
got
it
how long
being here.
before we could go for some lessons?
That's why I
And
didn't say
drink.
anything until now. Since I'm
That's why
We
she
thought
thinks
that
tendrils
was
is
just
funny.
seltzer. That's
You
beautiful.
look like a bride!
Should I go home and tell Dennis, like, we're renewing our vows?
Right now.